Welcome back to another episode of CineBeans, where we review pop culture movies and TV shows. Today, we're going over the Thunderbolts. Hit the theme song. All right, Thunderbolts was directed by Jack Schreier, fun name. And look, I think this will catapult Jack into a bunch of other movies because this movie was fantastic, okay? This movie was great. The message of this movie is that everyone can be redeemed. Does not matter what your past is, as long as you can come back and make the right choice in the end, which I think we could all use a little bit of redemption. Now, this movie nailed what Captain America 4 could not. And what I mean by that is, this movie had a serious tone going all the way through, but every individual character that had come onto that screen had their own unique personality. Everybody was different. This is not like Captain America 4, where my biggest gripes, where everybody was one tone the whole time. That's not the case here. Everyone was a joy to see, whether it be on their own or interacting. Now, this roster is not your big, showy roster when it comes to superhero team movies. A lot of these characters do kind of the same thing. In the end, I think that's why it works for the Thunderbolts, because they all have done messed up things in the past, and they realize that they need to make a change. The highlights of this movie is easily, without a doubt, Yelena. She is the main character. She's the driving force of this movie, and she's fantastic. I cannot wait to get more of this Black Widow. And I wonder if they'll call her the White Widow in this. Doesn't matter. The other show stealer by a mile is the Red Guardian, Alexei. These two were great. Red Guardian is fantastic. He's the heart of this movie, and I love the father-daughter dynamic that he has with Yelena. It plays out very well here. So overall, if you're looking for that action-packed superhero movie that's going to make you feel emotions, this is it. This is up there. It's one of the better Marvel movies we've seen in a while. Again, I was skeptical when this movie was announced, and they won me over. I cannot wait for another Thunderbolts movie. I think it's well-deserved. Spoilers! 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 We are now getting into the spoiler section of the review for this movie. So, if you have not seen it, you gotta go. You gotta go watch it. Then come back. Then we can talk. And we'll have a lot of fun. But now is not the time. Run. Alright, where to begin? This movie starts off with Yelena, White Widow, questioning what she's doing with her life. And I think we've all been there before. Sometimes you get into this rut and this pattern of doing things that, once you think about it, you're like, why am I still doing this? This is not fulfilling to me. There has to be something more. And she's right in that position at this. And this is all she knows how to do. Kill people and work for governments doing secret missions. This is her bread and butter. And she's doing this all under Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who has her hands kind of everywhere. She's like Nick Fury, but flies more by the seat of her pants. And she's got all these organizations running through. And this movie, for her, starts off with the US government coming after her. Because they're like, this Valentina lady, she's sketchy. She's sketchy. She's doing some sketchy things that we don't agree with as a government. And Bucky is on her ass. Bucky knows. Bucky knows something is up. He's known for a while, and he's trying to figure out how to take her down. He would like to go at the old school route, but he now lives in this world of politics as a congressman, so he has to do it the right way, with paperwork. So Yelena has this last phone call with Valentina, pretty much saying, hey, I want to try the superhero thing. I want to become a face for good. I want to save people. Valentina's like, great. One more mission, and then I can do that for you. So she sends her into the vault, and this vault has all of these secrets from Valentina, and all that Yelena is aware of is the fact that somebody is trying to infiltrate this vault and steal government secrets. She gets in the vault. She's trying to kill who we later find out to be Ghost. Ghost has her own mission of trying to kill Taskmaster. Taskmaster is trying to kill John Walker, U.S. agent, and U.S. agent is trying to kill Yelena. That's right. There's 4 people in this vault. And then we had the beautiful, magical moment. The moment that I have been waiting over 3 years for. And that is the murder of the MCU's Taskmaster. And when I say I was celebrating in my seat in the movie theater, I was celebrating. I think it was just me. I was freaking out because that was a magical moment. We're done. We're done with this version. They threw in the towel. They knew that they made a mistake, and I love it. I love it so much. So hopefully, after Secret Wars is over and the dust settles, Deadpool, I'm hoping Ryan Reynolds, introduces the real deal Taskmaster to the Marvel mainstream movie audience. After Taskmaster is shot dead, they all take a minute and they take a second to think about why they're all trying to kill each other. Also at this time, we get introduced to Bob, who just comes out of this coffin, essentially, and is like, hey, I don't know where I am. I don't know how I got here, but here I am. The other three are trying to figure out what the hell to do with Bob. Bob, what a good guy Bob is at the beginning. Once they all four, figure out that this has been a work for them to kill each other, so Valentina has no loose ends, they start working together to try to get out of this vault. And as they start trying to get out of the vault, they realize, oh, Valentina is going to burn us alive. An incinerator. What a way to go. I would not want to be incinerated. That would be terrible. That would be awful. They break out. They get out of the vault. Valentina has all her men lined up on this vault, ready to go. The Thunderbolts sneak out. Bob provides the distraction for them to get away. He is shot like 1,000 times. Like 1,000 times. And then he just gets back up. And, oh no, there's the Sentry. This is what we've been thinking about when we heard this movie and they heard the Sentry was going to be involved and we saw Bob. All the Marvel Comics people were like, yes, the Sentry. And here he is. This is the first moment the Sentry gets to shine. And he flies up into the sky, comes back down, and Valentina just kind of takes him away to use for her own devious plans. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about dear old Bob, before he gets shot 1,000 times and is realized that, oh, he's got some powers, he has a couple of moments with people on the eventual Thunderbolts team. He touches Yelena one time, and the Void, this is our first little introduction to the Void, shows her the one reoccurring nightmare she always continuously has. Well, one of them anyways. Moments later, we get the same thing with the US agent getting a flashback of how he's not really paying attention to his kid. He's being a bad dad. And that memory for John Walker haunts him. So they both have had their own separate nightmares play on repeat in their brain. And that is the power of the Void. One of his powers. Fast forward, we break out of the vault. The Thunderbolts team is starting to form because they realize that Bob is now being turned into the weapon known as the Sentry and that Valentina is out for their heads. So they are trying to make a beeline for it. And once Valentina's men start to finally catch up and creep in, they are saved by the man, the myth, the legend, formerly known as the Winter Soldier. Bucky Barnes enters the scene. And let me just tell you, Bucky in all of Marvel probably has the best intros in all of the movies. I'm talking overall, not just this one. When he has his moment here as his like, bang, he knows how to make an entrance. That's just one. Think about the Winter Soldier movie. How many cool, sick entrances did he have in that movie? He knows how to arrive. That is Bucky Barnes, baby. Bucky saves the day, captures all of them. They all come to this realization that Bob is going to make an appearance, and it's not going to be a good thing because Valentina's got her little hands in it. And so they come to the conclusion that they have to save Bob. When they arrive to save Bob, they realize, oh, Bob doesn't need to be saved. They need to be saved from Bob because he is now full-on Sentry. Let me tell you, watching this movie, I want to see more of the Sentry. I want to learn more about the Sentry. I don't know enough about him. I've always heard him be compared to DC's Superman. Like, he is Marvel's equivalent to Superman, except he's loco. He's crazy. So that's the difference between the two. I've obviously known about the Void and Sentry. I'm used to them being split apart because I know once they're together, they become even crazier. So I'll be interested to see if Doctor Strange specifically, would be my guess, splits the two personalities into two different beings. That would be dope because I would like Sentry to do more things, right? We don't have a lot of strong people that are allowed to go ballistic. Look at the Hulk. They've neutered the Hulk. I don't want them to also neuter the Sentry. We just need him to go all out, which we do get a little taste of what the Sentry can do in this fight scene in the old Avengers tower. He mops the floor with them. It takes nothing. He ripped Bucky's arms off like he was a Lego guy. Like, just boom, remove, throw it away. It was nothing. That arm is made of vibranium. That's not supposed to come off very easily. So Bob wipes the floor with them. They are forced to retreat, make a tactical retreat, and they about break up. And while they are going through all of their emotions about how they can't beat Bob, aka Sentry is talking to Valentina. It's pretty much like, why should I listen to you? I'm better than you. So Valentina and her assistant pulls the trigger on the Sentry, breaks his neck like 40 different times with this bomb or whatever safe trigger was in his neck, just breaks it. Bob's dead. We think Sentry's dead. It's over. Nah. Then we get the Void, and the Void just starts blipping people off the map, okay? Before we get the Void, though, there we have this beautiful scene that we need to talk about between the Red Guardian and Yelena. And they have this beautiful father-daughter moment about how Yelena has been struggling with her sister's death and has been struggling to find purpose, and she thinks that she's a monster. And Alexi's like, you are not a monster. I watched you grow up. You are a sweetheart. You are my daughter. I believe in you, and we can do this. And it's just this beautiful father-daughter scene that I don't think we have really seen a lot of when it comes to the MCU. It's just this beautiful, heartwarming scene because both of these characters have made mistakes in the past, and now they get the chance to try to do something for the greater good. Alexi has been beating the drum that heroics is the way to go. There's nothing that feels as satisfying as helping others. So the Void comes in, the Thunderbolts get back together, everybody's getting blipped off the map. Yelena makes a bold move and just goes straight into the Void, and you just watch her struggle with her past. You kind of get more of what happened in the Black Widow program. You'd see that scene that you saw earlier with her pretty much setting up this little girl to be killed. It goes to another scene of putting a gun back together, and whoever puts it away fastest doesn't get to get whipped in the hands. You see her deal with alcoholism at one point, and finally she's able to get to Bob, and when her and Bob are now together, you get a little taste of what Bob's been through. He comes from an abusive family where his father abused his mother, and then they kind of both abused him. They mention it earlier in the movie, but they bring it up again that he had a drug problem. I believe it was meth. Which, damn, Bob. Meth. And once Bob decides that he's going to fight the Void, that's when the rest of the Thunderbolts team comes in and rally together to try to get through to escape the Void, which leads us to the final scene. It takes us back to the lab that the movie all started at, the Sentry Project, and it's the Void, and it's this inner battle. And I think it is just this beautiful interpretation of what people with these inner demons have, where they're trying to fight themselves. They're trying to kill these thoughts and these beliefs about themselves. Bob's is in the middle of that fight. It's the physical manifestation of this fight. So Bob and the Void, they start going at each other. The Thunderbolts are able to break away and help Bob beat his inner demons. They escape the Void, and New York is saved once again. And of course, Bob doesn't remember a damn thing. And that's how the movie ends. Well, not quite. And after the Void is defeated, they all start going after the real villain of this movie, which is Valentina, who she's like, oh yeah, you guys are rightfully pissed. Well, don't hurt me. And as she goes through this curtain, the rest of them come out to pretty much, I'm assuming they were going to do a citizen's arrest, the equivalent of. They are greeted by press, and they are introduced to the world as the new Avengers, and Valentina takes all the credit for assembling the team, and White Widow looks at her and whispers in her ear, we own you. And that's how the movie ends. The Thunderbolts have now been branded to the world as the new Avengers. They finally have a team to replace the old Avengers, giving hope back to the world. And that's how it ends. On to characters. Handy Dandy Notebook is out. Let's get right into it. First, we have Yelena, aka Black Widow or White Widow. I'm calling her White Widow. I kind of hope she goes for her own name. It would also be very poetic for her character to be called the White Widow as she's cleansing her past. I think that would be fun and unique. She is played, of course, by the wonderfully talented Florence Pugh. And like I said earlier, her arc throughout this story is beautiful. Think about what we've had with Yelena in the past, right? We are introduced to her in the Black Widow movie alongside her sister. They have a great sibling bond. You move on to the Hawkeye show, which maybe not all of you watched, don't blame you, where she has now fueled her love for her sister into rage against Hawkeye because she believes that Hawkeye killed her sister, when in fact at the end of the series she does find out what we all already knew, that Natasha had made the ultimate sacrifice for the betterment of the universe in Avengers Endgame. So as she's still dealing with her death in this movie and fighting depression, honestly, going to her dad to try to help find her purpose, that's honestly the route that she goes. She's realizing that, oh, maybe I should try the superhero thing because my dad suggested it, and finding out exactly what her dad meant. She finally understands what it means to save people, and she's always been this caring person, and she's finally getting to be who she's supposed to be, not what the Red Room made her into. And I am genuinely excited to see what she does next? She, like I said, she's the soul of this team. I would say Alexi was the heart. And yeah, her character arc through this was fantastic. She's the one who saves the day. Then we get John Walker, the U.S. agent, back into the fold after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, played by the great Wyatt Russell, who I am been told multiple times after this movie is my twin, my celebrity twin. I will take it. That means Kurt Russell's my dad, and we all know Kurt Russell's a legend, right? Now, U.S. Agent's arc in this as well. Very dark. Now, when we pick up with U.S. Agent in this, it's very dark. Remember, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he went from being the highest of highs, he was Captain America by the U.S. government, to falling out of that because he made a very public murder in vengeance of his friend who was murdered. And then he just kind of falls off. And he's been doing all this dirty work for Valentina. You find out that he lost his family because of the decisions that he made. He could never really get over the fact that he was no longer Captain America. And is he a douche throughout this entire movie? Yes, he is. But he's hilarious. I don't think I remember laughing at him as much as I did on this. And at him, I mean with him. It was a brilliantly well done character. And honestly, you kind of see him get humbled a little bit in this movie. But it's nice to see that maybe he's making his comeback, his return. He's realizing his mistakes and he's trying to make that right as well. Then we have the return of Ghost, played by Hannah John Hammond. And you know what? It's great to see a unique power set back on the screen. A new suit upgrade, also nice. This looks a lot better. I love that the new helmet, the new mask. You've seen that she too has gone down a darker path, right? Again, this is the theme, redemption, blah, blah, blah. I mean, opening 10 minutes, she commits murder right in front of all of us. And let's be honest, I love her banter back and forth with U.S. Agent. She was the humbling factor for him, and it works really well. Other than that, to be honest, she's kind of just there. She doesn't get like these shining, grandstanding moments like Yelena does. She doesn't need it though, so I'm excited to see what they do with her on the new Avengers moving forward. Bucky Barnes makes his return. Sebastian Stan graces us with his presence once again, and damn do I love Bucky. Bucky is amazing. Bucky's still a badass. I wish he had more screen time on this, which is kind of crazy because I thought for sure he would be the leader, and he is, but he's more of a shepherd of the sheep that are crazy, that are the Thunderbolts team. He's the one just trying to corral them down the right path. To be honest, he doesn't even want to be in charge of them. He wanted to put them away for life or use them against Valentina, which I think was his plan. I can't wait to see more of Bucky. I hope we get to see him lead this new Avengers team. I think it would be refreshing for Bucky, honestly, to be a leader, especially now that he's going to be at odds with Sam Wilson, who's leading his own Avengers team. It's just hilarious that they continue to pit these two against each other while they are still trying to go down the same path, and I find that brilliant and hilarious. We get the return of Red Guardian, played by David Harbour, and my god, is this man a legend. Again, the heart of the Thunderbolts movie is Alexi. It is the Red Guardian. Anytime he opens his mouth, it is fantastic. I think of the limo ride, where he's just being the embarrassing dad to Yelena. I think a lot of us as kids have had that experience with a parent. We were just like, oh my gosh, my dad is so corny. He's embarrassing me. She had that moment, live time, and it's hilarious. The fact that he's raising the banner for teamwork, I would go to war with him. Honestly, he's the guy who just does the beautifully well done team speech to get you pumped up and ready for war. He is the best character in this movie. That's bold. It's bold, but he is the best. Now we shift over to our villains of the movie. First, we have Sentry and the Void and Bob, because it's technically 3 personalities in one body. We have Lewis Pullman playing the character, and they have made the Sentry in his first appearance arguably the strongest character we have seen in a long time grace the Marvel screens. I want more Sentry. It's crazy. He goes from this like very timid, very humble character, and as he turns into the Sentry, he gets into this god complex mode of how no one can touch him, and then the neck breaks, the Void comes out, and essentially this eternal darkness of depression just takes over, and it's beautifully well done. And like I said, I can't wait for them to break the Sentry out again. Right now it feels like he's the emergency handle that you pull when shit hits the fan. That's gonna be fun to see. It's gonna be fun to see him grace the screen again. And like like I said, I hope they split the Sentry off from the Void at some point and just let him go. Because let's be honest, Marvel needs a powerhouse. They do. We don't know how much longer we have Chris Hemsworth's Thor. Like I said, the Hulk's been neutered. We don't know when or if we're going to get an actual Incredible Hulk back while we're stuck with the Professor Hulk. It's great, man. It's great having the Sentry. And finally, we have the Weasel, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And geez, alone, her name is a mouthful, man. Played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who is phenomenal in this role. She's fantastic. I cannot wait to see more of her character as well. If you watch the podcast episode for this movie, again, plug for JP and the Beanstalk, we compare her to Nick Fury. And what's the difference between her and Nick Fury? I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Essentially, she is Nick Fury without the planning. She's flying by the seat of her pants. She's just trying to survive. She is a cockroach. You can't kill her. You can't get rid of her. And she is doing anything and everything to save her ass. And you watch this movie all the way through and you get to the ending and you're like, shit, no, how was she able to survive? It doesn't make sense. She shouldn't be able to get away with it, and yet she does. And it's very true to her character in the comics, because I'm pretty sure in the comics she's a double, triple, quadruple, quintuple agent. In the comics, she's just picking the winning side, and she always manages to find the winning side. And here is a prime example of her doing that. She now has taken credit for the new Avengers, and just her attitude and her talking is hilarious. And you get a little glimpse of her past as well, with watching her dad get shot and killed. She's fantastic, and I want more of her, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what they do with her. We've needed another Nick Fury-esque kind of character, and we got. And it's completely different from Nick, and that's what makes it great. I can't wait for those two to cross. I would love to see Nick Fury and Valentina go back and forth. I can't remember if that happened a little bit in Secret Invasion. I don't think it did, to be honest. And even if it did, it didn't get done great, because it was Secret Invasion, and we already know how that show went. So yeah, Val for the W. Now let's get into some questions I had coming out of this movie, okay? Why the new Avengers is my first question. Why the new Avengers? I still don't know why. I liked the name the Thunderbolts for this. It felt right. It felt good. I thought it was kind of weird that they implied that that was the name of Helena's youth soccer team. That kind of bums you out a little bit of the name origin, but it worked for this team. I don't like that they're called the Avengers, because to me, this doesn't feel like an Avengers team. They don't have enough diversity in the power move sets. As the Thunderbolts, it kind of works. They're all these secret agents for the government doing the government's dirty work, and I guess in this case, Valentina's dirty work, because I don't necessarily think she was doing things for the government. But the new Avengers, it just doesn't feel like it works. Just like Bucky's hair in the new Avengers clip does not work, all right? That little end credit scene with his hair, for the love of God, fix that. That didn't look good. That was too swoopy. Looks like that hair wanted to fly off Bucky's head. Fix that, for the love of God. But I understand why Captain America, Sam Wilson, would be pissed that this new team is going by the new Avengers. He probably doesn't want it to be a government-funded body. Can't blame him. That's what Steve Rogers wanted as well. He didn't want it to be a government-funded body. And like I said, I can't wait to see Bucky and Sam kind of fight over it. Which, let's talk about Sam Wilson's new set of Avengers. Who's a part of his Avengers team? We have no clues, no ideas. The only thing I could think of for his new Avengers team, guaranteed, is probably his Falcon. Who else is on that team? Who else? Is it going to be Captain Marvel? That's a good guess. Doctor Strange is off trying to stop incursions, so I doubt he's on the board. Spider-Man's off the board because he wants nothing to do with the Avengers. Can't blame him. He went through a shit ton of emotional anguish. The Hulk? Okay, I guess. Still not really enthusiastic about Professor Hulk. Shang-Chi? Sure. I love Shang-Chi. He was cool. That semi makes sense. I bet we have Wong. Wong, I guess, makes sense as the Sorcerer Supreme. Do we get Peter Quill? Do we get Star-Lord here? I don't know. The Guardians of the Galaxy are doing their own thing now, so they're probably not coming back to Earth anytime soon. The roster's kind of shot. And think about all the other characters that we've seen. They're all young. Like young. Like we're talking, oh, these guys are rumored to be the the Young Avengers. I'm even thinking about like Vision. Vision's off the board right now because he doesn't even know who he is. And if that even is the same version of Vision, Wanda is dead for now. I'm sure she's not fully off the board dead. So who knows? And finally, we get a clip of the Fantastic Four ship coming to Earth. We have a couple questions. Is it Pedro Pascal's Fantastic Four? Are we getting that version of the Fantastic Four? Are we getting the Fantastic Four that I grew up with? The originals? Are we going to see Chris Evans be Johnny Storm again? Who knows? Could it be our Earth's version of the Fantastic Four? Maybe something happened to our version of the Fantastic Four. Could it be that? Could it be a Doom variant? Could it be Dr. Doom himself? Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom? We don't know. We don't know. Was Galactus successful at the end of Fantastic Four First Steps? Did he eat the Earth? And do we just have a random assortment of heroes from that Earth that made it to the next one? I don't know. I'll be very curious to see what we get. Can you imagine if John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic is back? Right now, my guess is Fantastic Four. I'm going to be very basic. I could see it being Doctor Doom. That's the other theory. I would love a third theory. I think it'd be really cool if it was all these different versions of different characters that have now escaped on this ship. Like if you've read the Secret Wars comics, not the original, but the newer one, that's kind of what happens a little bit. Is there are two pods that are able to escape and make it out of the incursion and the new battle world that is created by God Doom. It is possible. I don't know what the options are. For the final ratings, I don't know what the difference between a thunderbolt and a lightning bolt is. I'm going to be really honest. Like, what is a thunderbolt? Because thunder is just claps, right? They're just claps of thunder. So I'll rate this on claps for thunder, and I give this 9 claps. This is a fantastic movie. I loved every second of it. The theme of this movie, this path, right, to redemption, phenomenal. My one-word review for this movie is redemption, because that is exactly what this movie embodies. Redemption. And it's a nice little reminder that if you have made mistakes in the past, you cannot let those mistakes define you in the future. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, realize what you have done is wrong, forgive yourself for those mistakes, and move forward trying to make the right ones. Because we've all made mistakes, and I think the human path is redemption. All right, now let's get rid of all the seriousness. If you liked this episode, we have other episodes of CineBeans. We have the podcast JP and the Beanstalk, so make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and stay tuned. On that note, God bless.